Cool.
When I was about 15, still in school, that's when we started smoking weed and drinking. Up until I was like 18, we were taking amphetamine and ecstasy on the weekends. And then one of the lads that was with us went to score some heroin. So we ended up smoking a bag just to come down off the speed. So then that got into a bit of a pattern. As time went on, we were just doing it more and more, doing it more in the weekdays. And then before I knew it, I woke up and I had a habit of it. It was just an awful time really, because we were only young and I couldn't tell my parents anything. Couldn't ask for help. I was addicted to heroin for about 10 years. The crack really only came into it the last couple of years. It was getting a hold on me and I was craving it more and more. And then I knew I was getting into an even more dangerous situation, and I knew I had to do something about it really.
I used to drink when I was a teenager. Then I got married and just didn't do much drinking them days, and then it ended up I got divorced and I just ended up drinking. But the last years that went on, it got worse and worse. I lost my mum 6.5 years ago, and I ended up drinking a lot and just carried on. I wanted to kill myself. I just couldn't cope no more. It was just too hard. I just didn't want to be here no more.
It kind of started by accident. The club scene, where it was a bit of speed, pills, stuff like that at weekends. It started with, on a come down of the weekend, I'd have to have a dab of speed to get me through the Monday. And over a period of time, it'd be a Monday, then a Wednesday, then weekends. But then it just formed into addiction and it just took over my life. And then the last 15 years has just been absolute chaos.
I started with cannabis when I was around 16. Out of boredom, I think, started drinking. And then I took my first Class A when I was 21, 22, something like that. You just get to a point where, what's the point? I got to such a bad stage, and speed as well, sorry, that I tried to commit suicide. What moving on in my recovery did for me was allowed me to look at myself, the decisions I make, the feeling, to understand my feelings. In the last film, I was around 2 months into my recovery, and today I am 2 years and 2 months. What I took from the course was a deeper understanding of myself. The difference between now and then is I can handle life on a day-to-day basis.
One of the things that we talk about with the guys when they're coming off then is to find something that sort of supports the recovery long term. And we sort of find that moving on does that now. It shows them how to live and sort of how to live life on life's terms and how to cope with everything once the sort of crutch of drugs or alcohol's been removed.
Coming on to moving on my recovery, I felt nervous, a little bit anxious, excited, open-minded. Especially hearing other people's stories, where they've come from, and how they've dealt with stuff. So their experience of the group and the strategies, I took away how I want my recovery to work, what I wanted from it, acceptance, that, you know, I'm not on my own. I'm not the only one feeling like this. There's so many people feeling exactly the same, and this is where I would get the best help.
First time I walked into moving on, it was like a bag of nerves, shaky, just so nervous, and it was hard being around a lot of people with no drugs in my system. Really, I just no confidence, no self-esteem. Yeah, it's a scary feeling, yeah, because the whole life, you have to change your whole life. You're having to start again, aren't you, from fresh, and learn things, and yeah, like change your attitude, change your behaviours. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it.
I think first and foremost it shows people that recovery is sort of achievable for anybody. It shows people that you don't need these sort of maladaptive coping mechanisms, that you can cope with life without drugs and alcohol, and that life can be more pleasurable and enjoyable, and sort of even the sort of hard times can be something to take achievement and pride from it if you can manage them in the right way.
I've got all this in my head because I suffer with depression and I was a heavy drinker. I just had so many things in my head. Anyway, one day we did a one thing where it said let it go in one of the subjects, and I just stood up and I said, I know what they mean by let it go, and it just ended up like that. And since then it's just like it's put a weight off me, because I'm understanding to understand better. There's nothing you can do to change things. It covers everything. It covers the stress, mindfulness, letting things go, as I said. And it just covers everything. Your depression, your loss, which was the hardest one for me, was my depression and loss, I would say. There's more positive instead of negative, because I was getting a lot of negative. That's all that covered me was negative. I could never find any positive.
My name is Donna, and I coordinate the recovery organisation Agro Cymru on Anglesey. I've been facilitating Moving On group for about 2 years. This current group that we're in now, which is the 10th or the 11th session, is the most successful one that we've had on the island in terms of numbers. A lot of it is stigma, and Anglesey is a very tight-knit community. So over the last 2 years we have gone from having a small group to having a full house within each group that we do. We've now not only got one group per week, we've got 2 groups in 2 different towns of the island. And I just was taken aback about it, really. It was amazing. Just seeing, about 30 people on a Wednesday afternoon, I thought, brilliant, this is it. This is what recovery should be about. And everybody was cheering and hugging each other, and it was just greeting. It was just like being in a, it's so brave, but it was good that I loved it. It was a proper community, and everybody gelled really well together. Which is good, because that's what we want, really, is to establish a recovery community.
Mine was uncontrolled drinking in the end, and I was going to lose everything. My kids didn't want to see me the way I was. They told me, you're not our mum. You're just like a Jekyll and Hyde. And I needed help, and I needed it quickly. I needed it. I was desperate. I was desperate to get my life back, to be the good mum, the great grandmother I should be. So I had to do something about it. My addiction started mainly because I went through a divorce. So that was the start of, the depression started it off. And then my children said, Mum, we've got to do something about this because you're our mum and we're just losing you. But they were out there, trying to do their everyday life. And Mum at the back of their mind thinking, how's she going to be today? Is she drinking today? Families do suffer a lot. I get people, families of the addiction person coming up to me saying, how can I help my mum or how can I help my sister? And the pain that they're going through, it really hits me here because I've put my kids through all that and I know what they're going through. And they're going through hell, and I mean hell. Doing Moving On in my recovery was the first group I did in the group to help me. And from there on, the ball just rolled. I've got the trust of my kids back. I've got my life back. I'm involved in everything that my kids do and my grandkids. My confidence has come back. Don't have to have a drink to have confidence. I'm more confident now than ever.
I'm now participating more as a sort of a co-facilitator in a sense. You naturally want to give back because you want what you have for other people.
I got asked to do a group in Pwllheli, Moving On in my recovery. I'm so passionate that they trust me. I'll do anything. I'll help other people. It's hard to describe. It's my life's coming back, and facilitating to other people. They knew what I had gone through, so they believed me, when I was facilitating.
I'm continuously learning from everybody around me, and I just love the buzz of standing in front of people and being able to share my experience, and obviously sort of teach the course content and intertwine them into a way where hopefully I am helping others.
Recovery is something that I'm quite passionate about and I have a big belief in. I believe that people, can and do change, and I'm quite positive that we can change things and everybody is kind of fighting for their own battle. These people are trying to better their lives and, they're winners in my book, and they deserve somebody to stick up with them, and help them.
Moving on, something I'm immensely proud of, because it feels there's a little part of my soul in there, and I think there is with all of us who were sort of involved in developing it from sort of day one, really. For some people it's just the little things in life, being able to open brown envelopes, being able to turn up for appointments or answer the phone on time. Just little things like that can make all the difference.
Moving on has been very important to me in my life, as it has given me tools that I can use now and help to sort my head out. We are actually building support networks for ourselves, with meeting up with the lads and doing things together. And it's just changed my life, because before I just closed the windows, that's it. Close the curtains. I don't want to be in this place. So yeah, we're getting out there and we're doing things now.
2 years ago I was moving in here. 3 years ago I was probably planning to kill myself. My future is bright. My future with my daughters, I speak to them both on a daily basis, and it's just bright, my future. There's kind of no going back. I know I'll never use drugs again. That is without a doubt. And I started getting the confidence to actually educate and to put my experience, my spin on things. And apparently I was okay at it. So I got asked to do the next one, which I was a bit nervous because I had to speak a little bit more and do the clip on the board. But my confidence built, and then I got asked to do like Llangefni and play in Carnarvon and stuff like that. And yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it. What I get out of facilitating moving on is light bulb moments with people that I sat around in the group. The conversations where me and Mark as facilitators can step back and the group runs itself. You don't have to look at the screen, you don't have to look at the board. There's conversations of strategies and tools just being thrown around. But seeing people come back is probably the best feeling.
It's about going out there and spreading the message, and is helping as many people as possible. And then once they get clean and they get sober, they can then facilitate, and then they can move on with their lives, and it'll just keep on going and keep on going and keep on going.
My favourite part, I remember thinking like, wow, this last 10 years, like, I hardly laughed. You had no emotions, and just being able to laugh again, yeah, it's a nice feeling. Just being happy, just the people I've got around me today. I know that they're my friends, like, they'll always be there if ever there's any problem. I am lucky today to have all these people around me. I never used to want it to look to the future, but now I can say, like, I'm looking forward to moving on and getting my life back on track, and yeah, just living happy. Yeah.
It just feels as if I've got this big weight off me, and I can just go, whew, you know, as if I've got no weight on me no more. It's all gone. It's just,
My family, they're so happy for me. I've put them through so much, really, and just them being able to see me now happy and clean, it's, yeah, they couldn't ask for anything more. They keep saying, oh, we've got our Catherine back.
Have you got Catherine back?
Yeah.